Hey, there we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be where you are. Welcome back to my live stream. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is August the 8th, 8/8/2019. We're going to write a little bit of code today. How's it going there, chat room? I see a couple friends here already. Welsh Ronaldo, Copper Beardy, good morning, good afternoon, nothing else matters. Hello, hello. Sean is here. Hello, good to see you. We dealt with a little bit of an issue yesterday around DateTime data entry, and we've been struggling with this migration of data, not even migration, this reading of data from a website as you key stuff into a web browser, and how do we interpret that and turn that into...
Steel279 just resubscribed for 10 months.
Thanks so much for that resub. Oh my gosh. 10 months. And we're going to make donations to Coder Dojo, as we do for all of our subs, all of our cheers, all quarter long. Thank you so much. Great to see you there. Stelzy, I appreciate that. With Twitch Prime, if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you're already paying for it, so you can get the cheap shipping, you can get Amazon videos and all that stuff. You get a free sub here on Twitch. Click that Twitch Prime button if you aren't currently a subscriber right above the video. Fill out the form. It'll link your Twitch account to your Amazon account, and you'll get one free sub here on Twitch. If you decide to bring it to my channel, not only are you going to get 17 emotes. Hey, Svava, thanks so much. And it didn't read that one. It'll read it later, but it didn't read that one this time. Not only will you get 17 emotes, but I'll make a donation to Coder Dojo. Thank you so much for that, Stelzy. Legendary Moo asks, hey, and Big Hairy Dude is here. Good to see you. Legendary Moo asks, is the localization today going to be focused on date time or also on how to provide different languages? We need to get past the date time issue. We can't even key in dates yet. We need to figure that out. There's something going on there that just doesn't feel right. It's a mess. It's broken. I'm looking for an appropriate sound effect here. It's making that noise every time I key in a date. Look, here's my birthday. No, that doesn't work. Here's my anniversary. No, that doesn't work either. Here's when I'm going to the doctor. No, that doesn't work either. I mean, you get so mad that eventually, yeah, we're going to blow this up. So, thanks so much, Slava. Jeff Blankenberg, happy Thursday to you. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate you tuning in. Oh, look at that. And you got a purple hat. Welcome. Thanks for the subscription. Let's see here. Legendary Moo, thanks for the clarification. Language localization in spas tends to be tricky. You're right, Legendary Moo. That's not language localization, and specifically that's when we want to translate things that are on our websites. It is a tricky problem, not just localization of text, but right, we've got different date formats. We've got a couple folks that are watching right now that are from Europe, some folks from the States, some folks from South America, and we've all got different ways that we represent dates in text. So how do we do that? How do we make sure that we accept that date format properly and then hand it off to some date neutral processing that's being done by .NET? That's what we're going to try and figure out today. We're going to see if we can make that work a little bit better here. Stelzy suggests, would it be worth it to make a DateTime component yourself in Blazor with all the problems with the built-in things? Stelzy, I think, might be onto something there. Let's talk about that a little bit further. Let me get some music going in the background here while we start to explore this topic. In chat room, this is why I refer to the chat room as the pair programmers, because you've got some great ideas. You keep me in check.
Dex Matt Birch just subscribed.
Thanks so much, Matt, for the sub, and we'll make a donation to Coder Dojo this quarter. I really appreciate that. Welcome. It's great to have you join us, Matt. There's a lot going on there, and I want to be able to pull this apart, and you're keeping me in check. You've got some good ideas there that we should look at. Let's get some music playing. I'm wearing my God of Thunder hat today. I've been watching Avengers Endgame again and again. I bought the digital version, and oh man, is that so good. You know what? Let's play Red today. There we go. This is Music to Code by from our friend, Mr. Carl Franklin. This is music that's scientifically designed to get you in the groove, to get you in the flow, so that whatever task it is that you're working on, all your other worries kind of fade away and you can focus on it, right? You'll get in that state of flow that we all, as developers, really embrace and you want to get into so you can be really productive. Whether you're writing code, doing homework, doing chores around the house, doing yard work, check it out. Music to Code by mtcb.plop.com. You can fire the music command in the chat room. It'll give you a link out there. You can get 19 songs for, I think it's $35 is the current price. Thank you very much, Carl, for letting us listen to your music while we're here writing some code together. Svava, I agree. Focus is very good. Very, very good. All right, let's get into this. Let's talk about the problem here. I did a little searching to try and figure out what's going on here. How can we make this better? There's my browser. And just searching for Blazor and DateTime, already some of the control vendors have some components put together for this, right? SyncFusion has a component. Our friends at Progress Telerik, they've got a component for date input, right? And this is a real challenge here. Look at that. On a white background, the white text kind of disappears here. Thank you for the follow. Ice Cream Codes. Nice. Thank you. I appreciate the follow. That's going to help us towards our follower goal you see right here. If we can get that number to 8,000 before September 15th, I will dye my beard rainbow for TwitchCon and for .NET Conf.
Ancient Coder just resubscribed for 12 months. OMG, can't believe I managed to stick around this long.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Ancient Coder, joining the 1 year club. That's going to put you in a rainbow hat there with the propeller. Thank you very, very much for sharing that subscription with us. Yeah, oh my gosh, 1 year. And we'll make another donation to Coder Dojo. Thank you very much, Ancient Coder. So I've been looking at this problem with date time entry, right? Because I don't want to just key in September 1st, 2019. I don't want to just key in, the time, it's at noon. I need to key in both. I need to have both points of data entry. Now I could separate it into two separate text boxes, which is messy, and it's creating two different data points that we need to manage, and it feels weird, Do I want NLP, natural language processing? Is that what you're referring to, Nalaj? I don't think so. The Lord of Thunder says Big Hairy Dude. Yes, that's me today. I am. Let's make sure we say this properly, because Big Hairy Dude has asked. I am today the Lord of Thunder. Where's my FX? Hello? Why am I not getting my echo? It's muted. The Lord of Thunder. But now I missed the lightning bolt, so the whole sound effect thing is gone to mess, and it just doesn't sound right. I'll do that again some other time. Right. Okay. Let's see. So, Todoist is the best example of NLP-based date-time entry. Okay. But we've run into this issue where we have this control here. I want to be able to bind, right, and we're binding the value. This is after it changes to this date-time field, and it should bind to it properly. And there's this format that it's coming in on, and the format, we started keying this in so that it formats it as the ISO standard date time, and it still didn't format and pass it along properly. So I'm looking at this and going, there's something really wrong here with this problem, right? The bind value format feature here, right? If we Google that with Bing and DuckDuckGo, of course we're going to use DuckDuckGo. Because it quacks. Of course it quacks. It's a duck, and it goes. Date time. Select how the date and time should be displayed by selecting one of the items in the type selection box. See, this doesn't feel right either. This is from 2017. This is Windows Forms. No, wrong one. right? At bind value format, and we want this for Blazor, all right? And it doesn't feel right. Hey, CLW, that's Corey Hurricane Weathers. Good to see you. Oh, it looks like you had a really great signal event there. Congratulations. Matt Birch says, only started watching live coding on Twitch this week. So much I've missed out on. Been catching up on my stream and James Montemagno's videos today. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us, Matt. Oh yeah, we're fighting with the date issue, right? This is something that should be easy to do, right?
It can be done exactly how I want it.
It can be done that way.
The only question is, are you the man to do it?
Darn Skippy, I'm the right man to do it, and we're going to get it fixed here today. We're going to have a date control. I like what Stelzy's saying there. We're going to have a date component that handles this, because I'm not going to let this get away. Thank you for the darn Skippies. Yeah, look at all that peanut butter going flying by. Absolutely. Okay. So, what they're suggesting here, if we have input text, right, that's a Blazor component that's already been defined and is available for us. We have bind value events, and we're able to trap and handle those events and act appropriately. But this is on text. And I'm interpreting this on date times. So, right, I want to use the standard HTML datetime local data entry field here so that I get both a date and time in the same box. And I want to bind it to this value. So bind value format, right, if I were to make that the appropriate, right, it's going to be HHMM. I'm not going to put the seconds on it, right? So if that's the format coming back, let me start the application and let's see what this does, and maybe we can dig in to this a little further. Ecomath suggests, can you manually handle two-way binding? That's another suggestion also that we could do. As the value changes, actually get in there, intercept, interpret it, and maybe even do a little, dare I say it, JavaScript. And work with it, which feels, when working with Blazor, see, all these horses, they love JavaScript. Being able to, needing JavaScript to convert a standard date into a format that the C# Blazor will interpret feels bad. It feels really bad, you know? It's like, why am I dropping down into JavaScript to make something formatted so that I can handle it with C#? The C# should just use it, right? So that field that I interpreted there, and we're still dealing with another data loading issue when we changed things over. So this is in the start time for this control over here. So this, if we select, right, if I choose that day, and let's set a time like this, and click OK, it's still, right? So the specified value, oh dear Lord. Oh dear Lord. Does not conform to the required format. All right, hang on. We need it in this format. So, you know what? I'm just going to copy that. Right? So, of course, I had it in absolutely the wrong format. So that's right, that's right. Okay. I'd really like that to be capital H, right? Like that? Yeah, that should work. All right. Try that one more time. CLW asks, is this client-side Blazor? Yes, it is. Yep. So, Mead of Enum. I hope I'm saying that right. Dates in JavaScript, even worse. Yes, right? Dates in JavaScript is really tough.
Super Viking just subscribed.
Super Viking, thanks so much for joining us. And we'll make a donation to Coder Dojo this quarter. I appreciate that sub. Thanks so much. All right, let me go back over to availability. So now, ooh. Okay. We're somewhere. Can I change this to like whatever? Hey, all right. I'm starting to sound like Matthew McConaughey again. All right. Progress. Yes, that's a different company. Progress. Kidding. Totally kidding there. Okay, I'm sorry. No, not that one. No, it's more like this one. Yeah. Okay, so that feels like it works better, right? Yeah, CLW with the LOLs. All right, so if I apply that to these two, that'll take care of this. The scheduled appointment, right? And we need to format this a little better still, so that we have, right, these where a scheduled appointment is like a doctor's appointment, right? From this time to this time, I'm not available. And a recurring schedule is something like, from August 1st through the end of September, I have bowling league on Wednesday night, right? Because everybody has bowling league. So I'm going to, these eventually need to be separated and put into separate formatting, and we can do a little bit of that formatting later. My calendar here that'll show you these, this is still working fine. We need to get it to load the dates properly, and that's some of the errors that I'm seeing behind the control here. This over here, it's not loading the dates properly yet, but I can't even save dates until this is fixed. So let's get that format copied down into this. And I like the idea that Stelzy was suggesting of let's wrap that up as a Blazor component so that we can reuse that a little bit easier. Fairy Wings, thanks so much for the host. Really appreciate that. It's only tough if you don't want to use 12,000 JavaScript files inside of a node modules folder. The Simeon's not wrong. Not wrong at all. The Naked Flame. It's kind of like the Naked Gun, only better. Hotter. The Naked Flame says, so if Blazor matures over time, would that help take away the need of using any JavaScript in .NET Core web projects, besides the odd thing here and there? Potentially, right? We're still probably a good half year to a year out on that. Thank you for the follow. Is that Kurgo36? I appreciate that. Appreciate the follow. Appreciate you joining us and helping us with our follower goal here. How's the machine? I rebooted the machine yesterday. I ran OBS and Visual Studio for a couple hours and it didn't have any problems. So thanks for asking, Janescu. Eventually, JavaScript could be subsumed by Blazor. I wouldn't say by Blazor. I'll say by WebAssembly. I am not on dual machines today, Ancient Coder, no. I'm tempting fate. We're going to get to the dual machine configuration here. I have the NUC still over here, and I've been loading it up with more of my configuration. The JavaScript won't be subsumed by Blazor, but by WebAssembly, where we get more and more compiled live running code running in the browser. I think you're going to see that's where folks are going to land, because WebAssembly is just another runtime in the browser besides JavaScript. The fact that we're compiling .NET code to run on a mono runtime that runs on top of WebAssembly, right? So you get these layers there. That's how Blazor works. Other folks are doing this with Rust. Other folks are doing this with C++. And it works great for them. And if that's the language you like to use, more power to you. We're .NET developers. We like writing with C#, so that's what we're going to use. So CLW says WebAssembly interest is growing significantly. I completely agree. Keep hearing folks talking about different languages compiling down to WebAssembly. Yep. Will this be production ready around .NET Conf? I hope this is production ready in the next week or two. We're getting closer. So, first thing I did when I tried WebAssembly was to write some C++ just for fun. Just for fun in C++. I didn't know those words would go together like that. That feels like an oxymoron. Do you really do that? Do you?
Do it!
Okay, maybe you do. Maybe, right? Me, I wouldn't.
Throw me a frickin' bone here.
Yeah. You know what? There's a lot more going on than that. Sometimes C++ for fun. All right. So let's close that. All right. I'm going to bring this bind format here to there. And if I were to make this into a component, right, I would pull this out into another Razor file. Let's, for the sake of discussion, let's do that real quick, just so that we have it available and we can talk about it. So all of my Blazor code in the project here, and you can execute the project command and get a link to our resource management project. All of our client-side project I have in this web client project. So what I'll do is, in order to wrap this up and ensure that I get the appropriate formatting for that properly, I'm going to create a new Razor component. They're now called Blazor components. But I'll put this here, and I'm going to call this just, let's call this, just DateTime, right? The entire form or just the DateTime local? I think just the DateTime local. The form we've already got, this is already composing several different other things. We could probably pull this part out as a component itself at some point, but I'm not going to get too wrapped up in that right now. I'm going to grab just that, paste in that HTML. So I've got bind value and bind value format. So those two I actually want to leave the same, right? I'm actually going to, let's put some carriage returns in here so I can see everything all in one screen, because these are wrapping, right? Now, I don't have a model, but I do have a date time that we want to bind to this. And we do have an onChange event that we're going to want to bind as well. So, oh my gosh. Let me see here. That one thing I made it cool. I think you have to remove the T between date and time format. No, it worked. That worked. That worked just fine. Over in our page that we were working on there. I need a parameter here for the date time that we're going to be receiving, that we're going to bind to. I'm just going to call this value, right? Can we do that? I shouldn't have to do that, right? Why doesn't it know what that is? Oh, wait a sec. This needs to be a system date time. Well, that means I've got a really bad name for this thing. So let's rename this to date time input. Right, that's a little bit better. So now I can make this value. That works. That works. I need an event handler so that I can pass back the change event on this. Hang on, let me close and reopen that. There we go. So if I remember correctly, isn't it UI change event args? There we go. And let's call this onChange. And I believe I can say onChange equals, and I would want to eventually reroute through all of these event handlers, right? It's not a string. UI change event args. It is. You're mocking me. That should work. That should work. What doesn't it like about that? Wish I had more time to hang out on the community hall floor. Prettier for Blazor. Also, when you have a time on the date properly. Yes, a date time, right? You have a specific point in time, right? It's August 8th at 10:30 a.m. That's a single data point. That's what I need to be able to capture. Naming things is hard. You get a daily reminder of this somehow. onChange should be a method that accepts UI change event args. Well, hang on. This needs to be a parameter. Well, actually, I want this to be a parameter also. Right? Do I have to do this? That shouldn't be a thing. Is used 2 or more times. Where? Hey, Lily Hazel, good to see you. Now, I want to take that on change over there. I've got this over here. I want to have it delegate it so that it calls, right? It needs to, hang on. On change is an event callback. So it's not just the arguments that I'm receiving. This needs to be a method. Yeah. It should be an event callback. Thank you. An event callback of type UI change event args, right? So on change, if I want to fire on change, that should do now, right? On change like this. No. We're going to have args. We're going to want to say on change args like that. No. It's an event callback. What am I doing wrong there? Event callback. Blazor, event callback. Chris Sainty. Event callback, yeah. Invoke async. Ah, that's what I'm missing. But I need to receive the args coming in there. Right? I should be getting arguments coming in here. So I should be able to say onChange.invoke. No, that's not going to work either. Where are we here? Create and use ASP.NET Core. Detailed look at data binding. Hey, I wonder whose this is. Show me the code. Show me the code. Yeah, I know. I know, Janescu. Now I'm confused here. I don't want to convert. But I want to pass that event handler back. Right? The event callback. Glad to be a sub here. It's been a great way to pass time while working with all the new and exciting aspects and innovations of WinForms. Yeah. Do I have bind value event? No. No. Why do I need bind value event? So if I do, right, bind value event on input determines, right, when I'm binding. See, that doesn't make sense to me. No. That's not it. Blazor event handler parameter. There's a way to do this. Yeah, I want to bind to the onChange event, so I pass the onChange event back so that I can receive it. Right? No, that's not it. That's the support for actually building it. No. Yes. No, don't see anything here. That's calling a method. Okay. My property event, my event handler, event handling, on-click update heading, and receiving that. 98% compatible. Oh, congratulations. That's pretty good. So, event callbacks. Here we go. The event callback right there on click. Okay. On click, on click. Now, I'm passing event callback UI change event args, calling it on change. Right? On change Jeff says so that it's completely different. And that doesn't work. At least the compiler is saying, oh no, you can't do that. On change is used 2 or more times for this element. No, it isn't. Right, okay, so yes, I am binding, which uses onChange by default, but when the onChange happens, I want to call back and trigger an event that was passed in. Right, this isn't letting me, when the onChange event fires, fire another event. Right, I want to execute this method that was assigned to this. Right, and the error list, onChange is used 2 or more times. Right, and if I do @bind value event equals onChange, what does that give me? Right, that feels... This I don't understand. Right, because I'm going to eventually want to be able to bind the value on many different events. And that doesn't make sense to me. Right? Alright, so maybe we do... This feels weird. Right, this looks... Alright, is there an intermediary method we delegate to? Right? UI change event args. On change Jeff says so. Invoke async, which means this needs to be an async task. Right? Pass the args. And we'll await that. Thank you. And state is changed. So that just this changes. So now this changes to change handler. And this feels stupid. That still doesn't work. OnChange isn't used more than 2 times. It's only there once. You're suggesting I'd change this like that. That made it even worse. Now these don't work. Now it won't format. Right. The attribute onChange is used by the bind value directive attribute. Great. I want to... So are you telling me I need to go bind value event equals change handler? Is that what that's telling me? No. Non-parameterized bind attribute that corresponds to the attribute. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm trying to understand this, and that help text cannot find the non-parameterized bind attribute that corresponds to the attribute bind value. So it should be... Okay. Capitalization matters, I guess. So I'm going to change this to on change and change this back from that. So now I should be able to go back over to, thank you, my availability page, and I want to change this. I also, right, I have that value there that I'm going to use. So now I can call DateTime input, right? Value equals and I actually don't need the on change. So let's comment that. Comment doesn't work. All right, get rid of all that. Get rid of this just so that it works. Let's see what that looks like. Run that. Might it be that the custom UI changed event parameter already catches the change? There's a GitHub issue on using both. Correct capitalization is hard. Aha. Yeah. Boils down to it's a feature, not a bug. It's I feel like we could improve the help text there a little bit. Make it a little bit clearer, I think. Ah, darn it, I got logged out. Log back in. Go. Do the thing. Make it happen. Woo! We're logged in. There we go. Well, that looks right. Right? 505. That works. So, that's now working properly. I can use now that date control and pass it around my application wherever I need a date and time. Hey, Alphonse Havoc, welcome. Spelling is hard today. Yeah, words are hard. Where's Quiltoni's words are hard emote? I have it here somewhere. I'm doing a little bit better today, Alphonse. There it is. Right, words are hard. There you go. Yeah. Just realized it's a great way. Yeah. We got. I think we've got a better solution there, and I can move forward with that. Tabakarov says, just realized that it's a great way to work listening to my stream in the background, soft music, and my voice is kind of pleasant to code and work on your own stuff. Time zones. Already preparing to go home? It's late in Minsk. Well, thanks for joining us from Minsk. I really appreciate that. There's all kinds of recordings of previous streams here, so if you want to watch yesterday's stream while you're waiting for today's, that's great, and there's always recordings over on the YouTube archive. You can check those out, youtube.com/C#Fritz. So I'm going to take that DateTime, and I'm going to use the DateTime component we just built, use it for both of these, and we'll check to make sure the data entry for these is working properly, and we'll finish with wiring the dates back up to our scheduler over here. So I'm going to do, and that actually makes this a heck of a lot easier now to use, I think, right? So this will be end date time. We can get rid of that. Oh, you know what I haven't done? There are recordings, but they lack that live vibe. You're right, Tabakarov. Tabakarov, or is it Tabakarov? Let me know. I want to make sure I pronounce your name right, okay? Similar time zone Middle East for Matt Birch. Oh, man. Yeah. This is my second to last tropical rain G Fuel that I've got. I've got one more scoop left in the tub, and then we'll move on. Because I realized earlier, last week, after the tropical rain, I still have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a fifth one back there. I've still got like 5 tubs of G Fuel. It's like, I may have gotten carried away. That's okay. Variety is the spice of life, right? Something like that. Tabak Arof. Okay. I can do that. Thanks for clearing that up. So that fixes those. Does anybody want to jump into live share so they can see the application, be able to get that running client side, so that you can see the application and interact with it? I can open up the live share here in a little bit if anybody's interested. We're going to come back to that in a little bit. We finished with that. I'm okay with that. All right. So we have this one, recurrence data entry, and that's how F12 doesn't jump through to that. That'd be really cool if you hear me, Visual Studio team. Right? It would be. It'd be kind of cool if I could hit F12 and it would go through there. So here we go. I've got name, start date, end date, and the start time, and there's also a duration. Where is it? Yep, that's the week pattern, duration text, and that should be a time. That doesn't feel right. Let's run this and let's take a look here. Right, we're still good on... Yep. Right, Right, so if this is Bowling League, right, and it starts on the... Well, oh boy. Well, that's not going to work. So it's coming back in the wrong format again.
Oh my.
I know, right? Sorry about that. I kind of blew out the mic. It's kind of annoying. All right, so let's put the format on those date controls. The placeholders don't even appear here. You know? All right, so at bind value, and I need a bind value over on this one. Right, bind value format equals that. Right, so let's take that, put it over here, drop out the placeholders because the browsers aren't even showing the placeholders. Put this as a dash value. I have a feeling we're going to hit something similar with the time there. What happens if I click into the time? Oh. Okay. At least I can click that and get one of these. Does that actually work? You know, whatever. Well, okay, that worked. Right? And what happens if I actually key in the values here? So if I want to type in 1345. Okay, that worked. Okay. Good, good. Good, good. And this, yeah, that should be a time. How do we accept hours, minutes as a time in HTML? It is those pesky dates. You aren't kidding, EcoMath. Let's set up the live share. In case anybody wants to join the live share. Yes, authorize it. Do it. Do it. Sharing. Yes, did you know John Skeet can divide by 0? It's true. He has those magical, mystical powers over C#. All right, so we have a read-only live share. There you go. If you're interested in connecting in so you can see the application as it's running, go ahead and open Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio 2017 or 2019. Click that link or copy that link. Go into File, Join Live Share Session, and you can click through and you'll see all of my code. You'll be able to navigate around the entire application as I'm working here. Booyah indeed, Carrie. Welcome. Thanks so much for tuning in. Great to see you. Carrie Payette, another one of the live coders. Thank you so much for that very kind cheer. We'll make a donation to Coder Dojo for that. Thanks so much. Yeah, we're gonna do the thing here. There we go. Here comes some folks into the live share. Let's see. I need to make that just a little bigger so I cover more of the email name. Okay, so in the recurrence data entry here, let's oh my gosh, Johnny Nibbles.
Johnny Nibbles just resubscribed for 7 months. A very inspirational run. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you very much, Johnny Nibbles. I appreciate that. And we'll make a donation to Coder Dojo for that. 7 months. Fantastic. I appreciate that. I don't know a watch time command. Okay, so the time looks like it's formatting properly. We're getting that sent back. But the time down here, we need to figure out for the duration. How should we have folks key in their duration? As I want to have it come in as a time, right? Yeah, that turquoise G Fuel is playing havoc with the green screen.
Anonymous G982869 just resubscribed for 2 months. A double free.
Thanks so much for the resub. I really appreciate that. And yeah, we'll make another donation to Coder Dojo. For selecting hours minutes, you either want a few selects, a combo box, or a limited number input. All of those aren't too bad. They're not too bad at all. Right, I can make hours minutes as a pair of number boxes, right? And have it limited 0 to 24 and 0 to 59. That might be a little bit easier to do than having to muck with this here, right? Receive that back into our view model, right? Which is right now, it's a little messy. But we could handle that, and when the on change happens, format the time appropriately and stuff it into the schedule object. We could do that, right, EcoMath? What do you think? But I don't want it as a form control, because a form control is going to span the whole width here, right? I want it as 2 controls that sit by side for the hours minutes. No, the anonymous name didn't break a thing. Whiteland92. Okay, we're good. Right, but that form control, we'll have to figure out that. So, all right, thinking out loud, right? If I've got a number, and the number that's going to be hours is really a byte, and we call this duration hours, right? Something like that. And if we have another one, it's a byte for duration minutes. We should be able to bind to the on change on both of those, combine those two into a time, and make that the duration. I think. Yeah, we'd almost have a time component at that point, right? That's a thing. Time component. Let's see here. So, let's see, right? If I do input, I'm going to make it. Can I do form control? I don't see form control number. Right? Nah. So we'll just make it form control, I guess. Type equals number. Is there an int? What are the other ones that we have here? Yeah, number will be fine. Okay. I don't need to give it a name. But we're going to bind value to duration hours. Like that. And if I want to bind value event, why am I getting the quotes already? Right, I can put a method down. Wow. Handle hours. And that's going to take a, what is it? UI change event args. I don't even really need to receive that because it's binding to the duration hours. I can just go directly against it. So I don't need that, do I? No. I should. Handle hours. And then I can do a thing like this. Why am I still getting quotes? It's like automatically adding quotes and quotes and quotes. Right, and I need another one now for minutes. Right, so if this is duration minutes, now I can handle minutes. And it unfortunately will behave a little bit differently. Right, UI change event args. Right, there we go. So, thinking out loud, right? Number defaults to an int. Fantastic. Time is for listing time. Yes. The URL for the live sharing session, there it is, if you'd like to join. But if I change this to time, sure. All right, let's do that. Let's see what happens if we make it just that, right? And if I get rid of that for right now, and instead we bind this to model schedule duration, which is a time span. Is that going to be legit? Is Blazor going to get mad at me because it's a time span? No. Looks like that works. No, I deleted it. Oh no, I was all right there. Let's see how that works. And let's make sure that everybody that's connected gets the browser starting so you can see what's going on here. Here we go. No, that's not the right URL. We want the HTTP. Oh no, it's not going to do an HTTPS. Fine. Let's make sure everybody gets the correct server here. And we'll start up, and it should open a browser for you on your side if you're connected. You're one of the 5 folks that are joined in on the live share. Not for input. There's no such thing as input type equals time. I just did it right there. Let's see how that goes. Frackberg, good to see you. The Ryko, what's the URL? And I shared that. You're welcome. Let's see how this looks. And if I look here, we should see this loading for all of our friends that are connecting into the application. You're not actually going to be able to click through to this because you don't have an ID. Unless you register. That'll work, I guess. So now, I mean, this looks like a time, which, I mean, it is a time, right? 4 hours. The duration is 4 hours. That feels weird. I'm almost tempted to have start time, end time next to each other instead of a duration and calculate the duration based on the start time and end time. I mean, it sure looks like it'll work, right? Right, so if I make this bowling league and we have it start up here, just because I like the bowling league example. Right, till then. And let's say it starts at 6 p.m., right? It's not daily. It's weekly. Oh, my weekly isn't appearing. Oh, no!
Kaz, you can just resubscribed for 12 months.
1 year, Kasukin. Thank you so much for that. 1 year of subs. That puts you into the rainbow hat with the propeller. Thanks so much for all the time you spent with us, and we'll make a donation to Coder Dojo. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Way to go, WebKit. So that's a 500 internal server error. That's on fetching the data over here. I'm not concerned about that one yet. But weekly, I flipped to here. This should have shown a drop down with the days of the week. So something isn't quite working with that right now. Let's go back to, recurrence data entry, right? So that is here. We need to change this to at bind pattern. And that should trigger this to reload. Do we really need the on-change model syntax? This doesn't work. I don't think we do. But what do you mean doesn't exist? What do you mean? There we go. So that... Was I just missing that? Maybe? Let's restart and see if we can get it. Yeah, I think you're right, Sean. Model dot pattern is what we were missing there. Instead of just the time, do start and end so that it's consistent with the other inputs. You know what, EcoMath, I think you're onto something. Yeah. I think that's going to be the way to go with this. All right, let's see if we get this, right? We're going to
Do it live!
We're going to do it live. So if I change this, there we go. All right, so now it's at least showing up. It still doesn't look great, but it's showing up, right? We'll worry about formatting later. And these, right, should be saving back properly. And I kind of agree. It should be start time, end time, and we need some labels next to those also, I think. The name is okay up here, but I think I want to start putting labels in here so that these are a little bit easier to see. I don't want to have it say duration. I think we want to put... Yeah, look at that, eco math right away. I'm going to leave that running. And let's put some labels with these, right? Name I'm okay with, but start... Right? Make this label 4 equals start date. Right? Class equals, is it form, not, I want form control label. Form, oh, come on now. Not form check label, that's not right. Well, first off, right, do we need to have a div here for each row of the form, right? I'm not completely up to speed on using Bootstrap, right? But do I have form dash row, right? And then go after this, paste that in. So now I can say label for start date and say start date, right? Does it go like that? Soon there will be a time input component to make it clearer. Maybe. That could be a thing, sure. So let's copy that, put that up there, move this over here, put a thing like this, boom. And we make this end date, right? And if I say end date there, right? That should look better, shouldn't it? Another form, and this one will be for, I should have left this word start, shouldn't I? Start time, make this a div, do the thing like that. Yeah, I want to, you know what, let's do something about this one. Right, let's put a property down here for end time. We can get rid of these, right? Yeah. So if we have a time span, and we call it end time, it's the end of time. And let's set up a async task end time changed, right? Something like that. And we use this to format the duration and stick it in the model. Can someone on the live share register and test with the Axe browser extension and open issues for anything they see? Cool. Okay. Just taking a peek around here. Is Carrie still here? Do I see? Carrie, you need to check the team Discord. There's something that I need you to take a look at in the TwitchCon channel. Let's see here. So, can I go away? I need you to just go away for right now. And we're even going to split this a little bit. So let's come up here. So instead of duration there, no. There we go. Class equals form row, like that. And we'll want a label. For equals, and we need to put a name on this. Name equals end time. It's the end time. Ending time. Okay. Let's see. So if I scroll down here, all right. So there's end when. Wait a sec. So I need to bind value event. Right. So now I can say end time changed. Right. Which means this is going to need a UI change event args. Okay. So now I can inspect, and I want to bind this not to that, but instead to end time. Right? Yeah. I know. So now I can say model dot duration, model dot schedule. No. Yeah, duration equals see, this isn't always going to work. End time subtract start time. That's not always going to work. Why is that not always going to work? Tacos indeed. That's not always going to work. Do you know why? Well, not only do we need model, do we need validation. Model start time is a string, so we want this to be timespan.parse. Now it's a time span. When your start time and end time go over midnight. Yeah, Karsten. Yeah, end time needs to be greater than start time, so if it goes over midnight, we need to handle that. We need to handle that. That's not too bad, actually. Right? So if... thank you for the follow. Is that Rurik? Welcome. If... you know what? Let's set up a var for this. Right? Start time equals time span parse model start time. Why is start time? Oh, it's in the view model. Okay. So, well, first off, I need to do an if null. If model dot string is null or empty, right? We want to check and make sure that model start time return. Don't do anything. Okay. If start time is less than end time. Clearly that. Oh, this is something that our friend Steve Smith recommended to me. Don't always leave your if statements with single line blocks in there without using curly braces to denote the blocks, because if somebody comes in and starts typing another line of text here, another command, another thing, that breaks the structure, right? You inadvertently have it running outside the if instead of as part of it. Time span does have days but won't work. Oh, we could use our extension methods. You're right. Right? So we could say if start time dot, where'd those extension methods go? We wrote some extension methods here for handling time slots. Where are those? Right, they were extension methods. DateTime extensions. There they are. And this is in resource management schedule. Oh, you know what? This project isn't referenced by the web client. Yeah. And even then, these are DateTime extensions on DateTime. We should put these in system namespace so that they're always there when you reference DateTime. Let me move these so they're a little bit more accessible to everything, because this depends on that same domain project, right? The domain project is kind of the heart where all of our stuff, our shared components are throughout this. You thought I was writing in VB for a second. Ecomath. Ecomath.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's move that, because I think it's going to be a little bit easier then to have it available for everything. So let's grab this. Well, and then we'll change the namespace to system, so it's just always available wherever we are in the project. So I'm just going to put this right in the root of domain and remove it from down here. Yeah, I know. It's okay. I'll delete this folder. That's okay. And I'll come back up here to DateTime extensions, and I'm going to change this to system, so I'm cheating, and it's just always available whenever I have a date time or a time span, right? These are date times. You know what? We don't have time span extensions on these. These are date times. I did all that, and it's not on the right one. All right, for right now, I'll leave that the way it is, and we'll add some time span extensions later. But everything should just work. So end time subtract, and that'll give me the duration. But if it's the other way, right, if it spans midnight, then we want to, right, we want to take the difference to midnight on both sides. We want to take, yeah. Oh yeah, we'll check that into source control. Absolutely. Keyboard Oreos. Welcome, Keyboard Oreos. Be careful of the crumbs. You're gonna get crumbs in your keyboard. It'll get a little sticky. Be careful of that, okay? It's not scary, but it may look like a horror show when you hold up your keyboard and shake it. Okay. But welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. Okay. Let me take this. This is, so the duration is going to be the end time until midnight, right? And then the start time as hours and minutes. So, model schedule duration equals, right? So midnight, how do we do midnight minus the end time? The end times. The end times. No. How are we going to do that? Right? Oreo crumbs in the keyboard. It's a terrible thing there, right? John Skeet's code fails to compile. The compiler apologizes. It does. It does. Well, okay. So how do we do this? Keyboard Oreos. You keep your keyboard very clean. I actually keep a paintbrush here so I can swipe out anything that gets inside my keyboard. Right? I'll even pop off the keys so I can get in there and clean it out. How am I going to get the end of day, right? Is there a time span, end of day, right? I want to get the 0th minute, right? Or the last second of the day, right? None of these ticks. And it's not 0, right? That feels weird. I want right? How do I get 2400 hours? 24, right? Can I cheat? Let's do this. Let's allocate. We're going to say var until end of day equals. So it's going to be the end of day. So let's say time span from. Nah. Can we say new time span? Hours, minutes, seconds. There we go. So let's say 23:59:59, right? Subtract in time, and then add a second. New time span. Well, we can just say, right, time span. This feels so janky. From seconds, 1. Okay, so now that's my time until the end of day. Okay. So I can say then my model schedule duration equals until end of day add model start time. So now I've got it across midnight. What do you think? Does that work?
Wow.
It's so kludge. So kludge. Right? If end time is before start time, add a day to end time. Right? So wait a sec. So you're suggesting... No, if I add a full day, right, then I'll have... If end time is bigger than start time, add a full day to start time and subtract. Right? So let's do that. Hang on. So start time is a time span. So if we say, right? Start time dot days dot at time span from days 1, and then I said it.
And then
Subtract the end time. Yeah, that works. Right, instead of that janky back and forth that I was doing. Yeah. No, not end time add day. Oh, wait. I have it. You're right. I have it backwards. So we can then move this down, so we reuse that. If start time is greater than end time, And you're not going to see the day because it's hidden. Yeah, that works. Okay. So that, right? So now it'll bind that. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work, right? So now I'll have a duration in there. I'm going to need to do a similar bind on the event for the start time changed. I could just make this time changed and check to make sure that they both have values. Right? Right? If end time does not equal null, and end time, no, just does not equal null because it starts off as null, right? Yeah. So right. So if I make this, did I really need the? Yeah, I do. I could have made this just on change, couldn't I? Like that. And make this now time changed. Yeah, because if I understand this correctly, right? No. On changes use 2 or more attributes, must be unique. It's used by the bind directive attribute. Yeah, I know. That? Right? No, doesn't like that. It doesn't like on change at all now. Okay. I guess we're going with this syntax everywhere. I mean, it's much more descriptive, but it's still... what do you mean? Could not find them. Bind... oh. I have to put bind value on these. Is it at on change? No. No, it's all lowercase. So, let's see if that works. And now we should be able to get the time coming out as a duration with the 2 times next to each other, and that should be a heck of a lot better. Oh, trying to help the sentiment carry. Come on, work.
Oh my.
Right? Get this thing running.
You can do it!
And tacos too. Love those tacos. Here we go. And availability. I thought I put these on the same row. Interesting. Oh, you know what? This is a string. This is a time span. I think I just want to bind to time of day and get rid of that start time altogether. You know? I need call from form group. Yeah, stop it. We already saw model time of day will always not be null. So I don't... That's going to be fine. And I don't need that. I can just say this is model time of day. I don't need, shoot. I don't even need to reallocate that, right? I could just make this model. And we're good. I think, right? You need call from on the form group. Form row. Call one. I don't have form group wrapped around the input and label. Okay, so if I make this form group, like this, row first, then form group and call. Oh dear Lord. Why not at this point make it a table? You know what I'm saying? Like, at that point, I'm adding so many tags and CSS that, darn it, TR and TD is just a heck of a lot easier. Components, forms, form group, label input. Form controls. Now I want them next to each other. Form group. Form control. Okay. No. Yeah, I want it like that. Form group row. And then I use the call notation on each one of those. Okay. So each one of these is form group row, class equals call sm2. I forgot that. What do we got there? Div with row needs to wrap around those two inputs to make it appear in a row. Yep. Got that. That makes this call sm10. This should be form group row. Copy this into here. Call sm10. I agree. CSS Grid feels like a much better way to do this. Call sm2. sm10. And we need the same things. Group, row. Drop this down in here. And call sm10. That doesn't exist anymore. That shouldn't have even compiled, but it compiled. Let's see how that works. No. Does not contain a definition for start time. Where? Line 17. Where do you see start time? There's a name for it. You make me sad. You make me sad, Visual Studio. Clean and restart. Add another div at the top. Why? Oh, form class, form inline. Well, I want it laid out like this. Let me see what that looks like to start here. Compiling. No. Recurrence data entry view model. Okay, so that's right. So let's change this into a get set. Right, that should have fixed that. Right, we should have this. Come on. Do it. The for attribute only works on IDs. But, alright, we'll change these to IDs. Ugh. So many of those. See, I thought form controls had to have a name because they were being turned into a post and sent back. Yeah, we need to make that a little bit wider. That's not too hard to fix. We can do that. Recurrence, daily, weekly, and the ending time is up here. Weekly, and it opens up and gives me that. Good. So I need to fix that layout a little bit. But it sure looks like it's going to save properly. Okay. Let me fix that column width bits there. This isn't the full width. That's annoying. The 4 is for assistive technology. Sure. No, I get that. I definitely get that. But having the 4 not work off of the same thing that forms actually use to interact with HTTP, and we need to have a second attribute that has the exact same thing, feels janky. Know what I mean? I'd rather just do that. Gotta keep turning off IntelliSense. Okay. And I need to make these a little bit wider for this. So I'm going to take it to... gosh, now I got to do it down the whole length of these. Right? And if I did this with CSS Grid... Right? I'm not comfortable with CSS Grid. Yeah, okay. Right? I mean, it would be real easy to do, be able to point and say each one of these is this width in the CSS file separately, and then it's not being carried through in our HTML markup, which I agree looks and feels better. I'm not comfortable writing CSS Grid. I would need to go spend some time on that. I've seen a bunch of folks with resources on CSS Grid, and we've talked about it, and that's how we're building the schedule controls. Schedule components that you see on the side of the screen here. That's all CSS Grid. I would need to dig back into that. That's fine for right now. So, let me save where this is right now because we have these things actually working. The save buttons we need to work through, and we need to actually turn into values and posts going back. We need to make sure that that's working properly. So let me close this. You know what? I don't have a... where'd that I come from? Thank you. Let's see. Let's go over to resource management. There we go. So I've got a couple files that have changed here. There we go. Untracked. Right, we moved DateTime extensions over to here and our new DateTime input razor. So let's add everything. Fixing DateTime data entry on the availability page. And that was... You're kidding. Alt-Tab isn't working? Over here. This was issue... No. This, right here. Number 63. 63. So that commit tracks with the issues. Right? So it's going to ask us now to log in. so that my key properly signs this. Good. You're kidding, right? Why did that? That was weird. Firefox just grabbed my cursor. Okay, good. So now that's in my private GitHub. We'll push that over and share that to the public one in a little bit here. But that will address this one. And this one, actually. Yeah. Let's verify that one is fixed. But I want to go over to the date fetch at this point and see what's going on there. So where is it? This availability view model should be getting the schedule right here. And yeah, it gets the schedule, but we also need to load up the time slots for the here it is. And right now it formats the dates with periods in between them. So if I go back over to this, and if we look at the network, rats, and it's not going to run because I killed the server. Let's restart this. Probably need name and ID. Well, we're not actually posting it back with HTTP. So using select matching would be quicker. What do you mean by Marcus? Marcus Voice Programmer. Help me out. What do you mean? Fantastic. Okay. Let's see. So now if I hit F12 and we look at the network when it goes to fetch this data, right? So we can see just how jank it is, how broken. There we go. Right. So there, it's trying to fetch right here. Right there, it fetched the schedule. It's fetching the time. Ooh, baby. That's a problem.
You're about to get a serious beatdown.
Let's see here. Love the response. It's not formatted anywhere near where it should be. Unable to resolve service for type schedule manager while attempting to resolve the time slot controller. Okay. So there's our first problem. The time slot controller that's going to expand our schedule so that we get just the clear availability is not able to grab a schedule manager. It doesn't know how to build one of these things. So this is an ASP.NET Core thing, right? So we're acting on the server side. We need to be able to register and tell it what one of those things is so that it loads it properly when it's requested. So I'm going to get rid of this and let's just services add transient, and this is a schedule manager. So it'll give me one of those whenever I ask for it. That should help with that. Multiple cursor shortcut when doing grid number changes. Oh, yes. Doing the multiple cursors in Visual Studio. Sure, I could have done that and it would have been a lot easier. Why didn't I think of that? I didn't. Alright, so now let's refresh and let's see if we get that same ugly error down here. Alright. So we didn't get an error. Okay. That's something. Is it the right thing? I don't know. But what's interesting is and look at this. There's the select statements it ran, right? DB command select from schedules, right? Let's see here. Let's take a look-see. When it made that request, where'd it go? It's not schedule manager. It put it into short date string format. Right, and it passed. You know what? It's not showing me. It's not showing me the parameters that it passed in to query that. I love that. Everybody just suddenly fires the tacos commands every now and again just to see tacos fly by. I don't think I want to... I think I want to force the format of this. Right? To month. And so then I can actually replace this entirely. Right? So I can do month, day, year to force it to the format that I prefer. Doesn't matter that it's that format. I'm using it so that I have a standard format that I can rely on for locating, casting it back into a date from a string, right? Because it's going to be handled poorly by HTTP, okay?
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
I do, indeed, Hans. Don't mess with me, Hans. All right? So I'm going to receive it in that format into my time slot controller. So when it goes to get the time slots for that, right, it's trying to receive these as dates here.
The Michael Jolly just resubscribed for 9 months. New hat fam.
Hey, Michael Jolly, thanks so much for the resub. 9 months. Yeah, that'll put you into a green hat now in our loyalty badges there. And thanks so much for sharing that, for sharing your sub with us here. We'll make a donation to Coder Dojo. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to change these from date times to strings. So then I can parse them into real date times, right? Start date, end date is what they are over there, right? So let's call this the start date equals datetime dot parse, and now I can specify. I can actually say parse exact. Parse exact, because I know the exact format of this. The string that I'm parsing is the start date. There you go. And the format is mmddyyy, because that's the format that I made it. I should make that like a constant somewhere that I can pass around, right? But I'm purposely going a little forcing that format so that we don't get any kind of weirdness around localization or HTTP parsing, right? Why don't you like parse exact? Don't tell me you need a culture. Fine, invariant culture. How you like that? You like apples? How about them apples? What? Last 5 minutes that I had to get rid of that sound. Right, the format provide. I thought I could say. I thought I could pass in there invariant culture. Right? This one. Time span, parse exact, invariant culture. Right? This. Yeah, culture. I should be able to say, isn't it like culture, invariant culture? Culture info, invariant. That's what it was. That's what it was.
Hey,
yes? Yeah, there we go, Karsten. Yep. So now I can change this to the start date, the end date. It feels like there's a little bit of lag, a lot of lag going on right now. I've dropped a few frames, but less than 0%, 0.0%. So that should now fetch the schedule properly and return it. Seco Labs, thanks so much for the follow. Appreciate you joining us. That should load. We should get data properly out of this. And then, see it painted on the screen? Right?
Well, do your best.
We're trying. We're really trying. Let's close some of these other browsers.
And then?
We'll see what it says. I'm gonna hit F12 here. Show me that console. It's clean! It's not showing me anything. I think we had this escaped. Right? Okay. So let's go back over here. So my available... Okay, so now I have it in the time slots collection. That should be loaded here. Right, where is it? Time slots. Right? My schedule state time. Oh, it's in my schedule state time slots. Okay. So now if I go back over to the availability component, which is hiding there. Expand schedule. Okay. And so those should now be available. So then what? My schedule state, that's being passed into the day view. Yeah. Okay. Day picker, we had that highlighting as well previously. Right, the day picker. Yeah. Thank you for the follow, Zombie Foo. There are so many and then sounds. Yes. It is from Dude, Where's My Car? And I've got... There were 10 different and thens, but really there's only 6 that you need. Because you have... And I didn't want to use Ashton Kutcher saying and then back, right? So they're all lined up. You can use those. You can also use Scott. There's a whole bunch of sound effects that you can use here on stream. Take a look at the help command. There he is. So, and Lord help us if I have Scott Hunter or Scott Hanselman on the channel, because the number of Scott commands that are going to be firing the entire time, because I know how Twitch works.
Right, Scott.
See? We're just going to have it flooded with those. And it'll be amazing. And they will never come on my show again. And then I'm going to get a meeting with HR. Did you have your Twitch stream audience harass your boss by having Doc Brown yell Great Scott at him nonstop for 5 minutes straight? Well, I didn't tell them to do it. They just kind of did. Yeah, but you enabled him.
It's illegal in 9 countries.
I'm not in one of those countries. Maybe the Scott commands are what? No, I haven't invited them. Scott! Yeah, him.
And then?
I'm gonna get in so much trouble. It's gonna be amazing. Okay. 500 bits for Scott.
Scott D.
Thank you, Carrie.
Oh my.
I will add that very kind cheer. Thank you very much. Yeah, there we go. So the day picker has a day picker view model. If we look at that, excuse me, that's being injected. This should have. Okay, so that's how it's. Oh, it receives the. Well, wait, my schedule state. That's being passed in, so it should have it. Okay. Maybe. My schedule state time slots any, then it will mark these as active or inactive. So it is working with the time slots. It should be returned and it should be loaded up. Do we have any events in the database? Yes and no. Let's take a look at that. Ancient Coder asks, on a serious note, have I got any guests lined up soon? While I'm getting the DB browser running here, I had Jeffrey Palermo all set up to join us today. We had a major storm roll through yesterday at the exact same time that I was supposed to do our tech check and get everything lined up with him so we could get in and do some more DevOps configuration here for the project. So I was without power for a good hour and a half here, and we weren't able to connect. We both have very tight schedules. So we're going to reschedule him to come back and join us next week. But we've been trying to get together on that one for about a week or so. I do have confirmation that, well, first off, I'll be in Seattle next week on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So my Tuesday stream, Phil Hack is going to join us, and we're going to have him walk through, and we're going to do a little bit of getting started with source control, get started with Git and GitHub, and we'll talk about that live from Microsoft next week. And we're going to try and have Jeff Palermo join us a little bit later in the week. Wednesday, there's a couple people at Microsoft I might grab and see if I can have join me for a stream on Wednesday. Might be nice to talk to somebody about security. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Not him. Maybe. It'll be up to him. All right, so let me see if there are any schedules. I mean, we have a schedules table here, so there is at least a schedule there. Are there any schedule items? Yeah, look. So there's that one on the 25th. Is there a recurring schedule? Nope, we don't have any recurring schedules yet. But we should still see that one on the 25th, on July 25th appear. So let's do this. I'm going to actually run this with the debugger attached so I can see it fetch the data here. Right? Let's see what we get there. It was a bad storm yesterday. Had to shut down as well. Make sure you didn't short your computer. I've got a lot of, what's it called? You know the things. The surge suppressors in between things here so that I can hopefully prevent that kind of thing from happening. I don't have a UPS. I have a UPS that the machine is on, but the batteries basically run down and run dead at this point. I need to replace the battery in it or just replace it in general. Let's see what we get here. There we go. All right, so go here. Now, there it is. All right. So start date. So it passed in, that's July 8th, 2019. So we should get it. So July 8th through to October 8th. So we should get that, right? Oh, wait a sec. Do you see the problem? Do you see the problem? Semsem9000, thanks so much for the follow. And we just found where I made my mistake. This is going to try and expand the schedule. There are no schedule items. There are no recurring schedules because I didn't include them.
Oh my.
I know. I forgot to include them here. Oh, come on. Read it. Oh, I didn't read it.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Yeah, knowing is half the battle. The other problem is you got to not make the mistake in the first place. So we're going to include from our schedules, right? We need to actually include the schedule items, right? Which is no. S dot. Come on. Why aren't you giving me the navigation there? Schedule items. We also need to include on the other side recurring schedules, and we need to include schedule exceptions. So recurring schedules are those things like the bowling league. Schedule items, that's our one-offs. Schedule exceptions are, ooh, you know what? I'm going to be away for the weekend because we're going to go on vacation to the beach. So, that should work now because it should have all my data that it loads properly this time. Let's see what happens. Namazri says, nice orchestra. What orchestra? Yeah, the battery is shot on my UPS binary chef, yeah. After a long time, the battery goes on it. So, recurring beach visits. That's not a bad idea. A recurring beach schedule. Oh, that'd be so nice. Let's hit F12 here. I'm going to look at the network. Let's refresh and see if it actually returned data. And then we'll figure out if it actually painted it properly. Right? Start with data. Give me some data. Give me some data. Hey, there it is. It found my oil change appointment. Okay, okay. Now we're talking. So, did it map it properly? No. No. Didn't paint the 25th, right? The 25th, it should have painted and shown having an appointment on it, right? Because there's some appointment here with a start time at the 25th, end time, right, from 3 to 4 p.m., right? That 1 hour should have appeared here, but it didn't. So there's something that's disconnected, and this is this is an artifact from when we migrated from Blazor server side to client side. We're still connecting some of these we're still buttoning up some of these issues here. So, day picker. This is the month view. So it's this bit right here. When it has an appointment, it should set the class appropriately on that. So the day picker has the day picker view model. Let's look at this. All right, there's the model state. Okay. Are we running into a timing issue here? Because the data isn't loaded when it's being presented. I don't know. I've got a crazy idea. Are you with me, chat room? I've got a crazy idea. Let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. So let's log in. What's my password? I think it was that. Yep, that worked. Okay. I want this down on the bottom. Yeah. Maybe we're okay on the side for now. Which one is it to flip it so it's on the bottom? No. Ah, there it is. That's better. Okay. Right, now if I Shift Alt D, that's better. Where the heck is the customize thing? I just had it open. I just had the thing open to move it to the bottom. No.
Oh my.
I just did this. Dark theme, thank you. Okay, whatever. The tab is inactive. Oh, yeah, I know, because it's... okay. So now I should be able to debug the actual C# in here. Yeah, I want this whole thing on the bottom. Right, what's this? Toggle screencast. No. Now I've broken it. Okay, where the heck is the, hang on. Now I've completely done it. Oh, forget it. Right? Thought you were going to say, yes, we were we had a issue that prevented us from connecting today. So can I put this side by side with that? Is that a thing? Right? Sources. Okay, availability. There's that. There we go. There's my C#. Okay. So now I should be able to look down into, I'm going to look at this component, which is this one here. Excuse me for a minute.
Goran Hal just resubscribed for 3 months. Hello, smiley face.
Oh my gosh, Goran, thanks so much for the resub. I appreciate that very much. Johan, good to see you. Yeah, Code Stencil, there was a little bit of an issue with connecting with Jeff yesterday to do our planning for the show.
Jahab just resubscribed for 14 months.
Oh my gosh, 14 months. Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. And we'll make donations for all of those subs to Coder Dojo. So what I want to do is I want to set a breakpoint here while this is loading and painting these days of the month in here. So I'm going to put a breakpoint right there. Okay. When I page back, why didn't it break? Why didn't it break? It should have broken there. Right? If I refresh now, is it going to hit those breakpoints for me? Is it going to do it? Do it! Come on!
And then?
Do it!
Thank you. Buttons didn't want to work. So it's not actually... What's it doing? And why is it saying not available, not available? Right, if I look at sources over here... I'm not seeing... Right, so over here I'm seeing the C#. I'm not even seeing the C# anymore. I've lost it entirely. Alright. Well, that's not going to work for us. Now what? I mean, I could do some console write line and write out to the console as it's formatting as it's looking at each one of these, right? That's going to be really janky. That's just going to be a mess. I mean, I guess I got to do it that way because I'm not getting the connection here on the debugger. So let me go back over here. This model display day of month. If I check into there, right, this is where it's checking in to see, well, are there any time slots where the start time is this day? Right? I'm going to take this calculation out. Let's put this right here. So then I can inspect it. Right? And this is something actually I should be able to test this with a unit test. I should be able to. And I feel like that would be the right thing to do.
And then?
We'll take a look at what it actually is. So let's say today to short. See, now wait a sec. Today is, no. Not date time. No. I want this day. Yeah. To short date string. And as a PPT. Now that should output to the browser console, and we should be able to inspect that. Testing is the right thing to do. I completely agree, Johan. So we can make sure that this is functioning properly. If I can inspect this real quick and make sure that I'm getting something, then let's roll over and write some unit tests. Let's see what we get. Come on, compile. Because doing console write line, well, let me tell you, that's a very...
But what I do have are
something
a
I
very
do.
particular set of skills.
It's a particular set of skills.
Skills I have acquired over a very long career.
It's a long career of writing console write line every time I change some code so I can inspect it. Darn it. Okay, so it is inspecting each one of them, and when it got to the 25th, it didn't find anything. Why didn't it find anything? And it did look at everything in August. So that's telling me that it doesn't have the same schedule state. It has a different schedule state. And that we have an injection issue here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to need to drop here in just a few minutes because I have a meeting to get to. Okay, so what we're seeing here, if I'm thinking this through properly, is right, the schedule state model that's being injected there is not the same one. Even though it's scoped and being managed there, I'm not getting the same one with time slots being passed in. Let's think this through for a second. Yeah. We're on the availability page over here. What if we pass in the collection of time slots as a parameter here? Because we've already expanded them, right? If I have time slots equals, right, model, right, it was model time slots? Is that what the thing is? So let's go back over here. If I had an attribute, right? Then I'll need to create the
And then?
I know. I don't think we need this. There's 0 references there, so I think we can definitely remove that. Those are navigations. That's fine. And we don't really need schedule state. What we need is the time slots. Where's schedule state? Where are you, schedule state? There you are. You turkey. Right, because whenever we reach into my schedule state, we're going to get time slots with a capital S. So, back over here on availability, it's going to be model schedule state time slots with a capital S. So back over here, if I don't have that, if instead, right, time slots is a IEnumerable of time slots. Right, if I have that, oh, I need to actually give it a variable name. Duh. There we go. Then I can simplify that dramatically, right? I'm not doing this injection here, which doesn't feel like it's holding up its part of the bargain anyway to do that. Here we go. Oh, I do need the selected date. I do need that. Well, that it does feel like it is getting. Okay, hang on. Maybe we are onto something here. The selected date, it does feel like it is maintaining. So let's go back. All right. Maybe I'm wrong. That we don't need. We definitely don't need the schedule. Okay. Let's go back over to the running thing here. So the selected date, as I select these, it is passing that information along, but I'm not seeing, right, as it's going to display the days of the month. So let's take a look here. Let's do this. My schedule state, time slots, count. Let's just write that out. I don't care what it is. Just give me something. Is the source code online? Yes, it is. Yep. Parallel over multiple agents would help with these slow UI tests. Well, I'm not even doing user interface tests at this point. But yes, that's absolutely something that I want to talk to Jeff Palermo about, is how do we bring that in. Blazor is sick AF. Well, thank you, Yeti man. I think it is a pretty impressive framework for us to be able to work with here. So let me click into the availability here. And maybe I didn't. Maybe I broke it. Maybe. Does not have a property matching time slots. Oh, I still have that other thing. Rats. Hang on. I have that out there that we don't need. Now we should get that coming through, right? Right. There we go. Going. Oh, come on here.
Throw me a frickin' bone here.
Jeez.
You have to ask me nicely.
I did ask. I told you to debug. Start already. All right, there's availability. There we go. F12 into this. 0. Look at that. And as I navigate around, still 0. But it fetched the data. So we're fetching the data, we're pushing it into... Right, so on model async, this happens. The on init async happens. It gets the availability, expands the schedule, so we get the time slots. The time slots are asynchronously fetched, pushed into the schedule state time slots collection. Right? We can... We can do that. Oh my goodness. Thank you for the follow. Is that Zhijink? Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. Now let's say console right line fetched and we'll say fetched time slots. No length time slots. So we get a count reported when it happens. So then we'll be able to look and we'll be able to see order of events for these things happening. Blazor SQL Mr. Magoo made Blazor PWA MS build for making Blazor apps to a PWA. Neat. The user variable is commented out. What user variable? Where? Show me where that is. Here we go. Availability. So look at that. It painted the calendar, finished the fetch. I think we need to tell the date picker that it's changed and it needs to go repaint itself. So how do we tell another control to repaint itself? Wait a sec. Wait a sec. I think I know how to do this. From over here, we have the day picker here. Right, so when this finishes, expand schedule here. Oh, we're not in the object. We're not in the object. If we were inside the component here, right, we could say state has changed and repaint when it finishes the initialization. We don't have that here. Well, actually, this finishes after that. That might actually be okay. I could raise an event and send it along. I could do that. Let's see how this works. But I feel very much like this is almost very spaghetti, right? The availability object finishes, and I want to pass down here everything. Here's what's happened. Right, so now if I F12 and look at the console, fetched one time slot, and it didn't re-render it. Right. 0. Yeah, it's not... This control needs to be... that control... Think this through with me. That control is using this view model. Availability... the day picker view model referenced here that's being injected. It's not getting a new instance of one of these. It's not re-rendering. It's not getting a new one because, yeah. I think we need to, it's either going to be parameter set changed. There's definitely an order of events here that's not triggering properly. And we're chasing it right now to try and figure out what's the event. Because this component, the time slots that it has in its reference to the schedule state is not the same. It hasn't received that appropriate collection of that appropriate state. It's out of sync. But I am up against the time that I have for today. Let me commit those changes. I still have this open, that's why. Yeah, there they go. So let's commit what I have. Let's clean up where we are and get ready to set up a raid. Work in progress. Trying to get time slots shown. Oh no! There it goes. Push that up, and I will send a pull request over here. Show me that I need to send a pull request. No, not going to show me that. Oh boy, here we go. Alright, so I'm going to send this from mine. Yeah, I know. I'm not trying to. Here we go. Yeah, now you're showing me that. Tough guy. No. I can't send this pull request. It's not rebased and sitting properly on my branch. I'm going to have to pass on this for right now. Alright. It's sitting out there in my local copy of the dev branch. I need to rebase this so it's the same as what's over in the main branch. But the work is in there. You can take a look at it. It's here in my private repository. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining me. We're getting pretty close here. I'm feeling like it's right about there. Let me set up our raid call. Thank you for the follow, Admiral Kier. Thank you for that. There's our raid call. If you're a subscriber, grab that first line of text out of the chat. Copy it onto your clipboard. If you're not a subscriber, that's okay. Grab the second line of text. Copy it onto your clipboard. And let's see who we can raid here today. I'm going to take a quick peek at what's going on out here. You know who we haven't raided in a long time, and we're gonna raid her right now. She's working on, it looks like, some models for the game that she's building right now. We're gonna raid Lana Lux. She's another member of the Live Coders team, and she's building her own game that she's working on. She's an independent developer, an independent game developer, and she's doing some work building out some stuff for that right now over there on her channel. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. I'm going to do a little research on this, talk to some of my friends on the Blazor team, and see if I can figure out why we're getting an order of events issue around some of these date components. All right? Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you got the raid call ready. And we're going to head over and say hello to Lana Lux. All right? Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.